Oh, there we go.
Hi everyone, we're live on Paranormal Path with the co-host Lois. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jack?
I'm fine, thank you. And tonight we have a special guest. We have Ben and Lou, who are demonologists. How cool is that?
I've been so excited for this interview, guys. By the way, I've been gearing myself for it all week because it's one of those subjects that I'm pretty much really into.
It's a side I don't know because I've always been taught to sort of do the love and the light side. So I don't know anything about that side other than what, obviously, I've spoken to Ben and Lou, I've met them a few times. So I've heard them talking about it and it's so intriguing.
What happens with a lot of it? A lot of people think it's just pure darkness and that lot, and it isn't. There's a lot more to it than people realise.
Yeah, that's it, because everyone just thinking of the Hollywood films, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, it's a demon. You go around a corner and a demon's going to jump out at you. Things like that. But what is demonology? What is it?
Well, it's obviously categorised as the study of demons, but the word demons it's such a, to put it bluntly, it's a proper derogative term still used.
Right.
Because most signs of demons are used black figures, aggressive and all. But when it comes to black figures, you've got shadow figures that are seen all the time and they're not good nor bad. But they're still people classify them as being demon entities. They're not.
Yeah.
That kind of makes a bit more of a baseline, I think. Yeah.
You think where you sort of from in the world is different from what you perceive a demon to be as well?
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a lot of shows where there's a demon around the corner. And then in the UK, it's classed as an evil spirit. But then demons exist as well, don't they? So it's all complex.
Yeah.
I think also, sorry, on you go, Ben.
No, go on.
What I was just going to say is that, it all comes back down to media and how media portrays these. I mean, obviously they make demons out to be this terrible thing, and it all comes down to obviously what's been taught.
Yeah, well, I've just been writing studies out, and you do your Sumerian stuff. When you look back into the Sumerian history, like the first accounts of, say, demons, they are neither good nor bad. You get them on either side of the fence.
I mean, even the name.
Yeah,
it's just a relative, a lot of different entities that aren't like human originally.
Yeah.
Right. So what? You say they weren't quite human originally?
No, you just have to look at your history. Like anything outside of Christian belief at the time was classified as a demon.
So like the old gods from other religions, like pre-Christianity, then Christianity came along and termed all of their gods as demons.
Right.
Just think of a prime example. Pan, for example, if you take the belief of the old Greek mythology and then the Wiccan mythology now as well, Pan being the old god with the horns and the goat feet playing the parts, is classified as a demon in Christianity belief, yet in other ancient beliefs, he's classified as the keeper of nature.
Right.
See, I love all this. I could listen to you, Ben. Like this full entire show, you'll probably see me sitting back tonight and being like, "You guys carry on." I mean, it is one of these subjects that, I think should be taught more. Because people hear demonology and they suddenly think bad things. That's needing that. That line, "Do your homework." Demonology is a really, really interesting subject.
It definitely is, because people don't know about it. Like, people are sort of going down the spiritual route now, and they just don't have any understanding, do they, of the other side? Is it the other side, though? Is it the light and the dark? It's not that cut and dried, is it?
Well, no. the definition of, say, good and evil, for example, is purely human based. If you take, I always, for example, when I'm teaching people, I always say, take, for example, a fox and a rabbit. The fox attacks the rabbit, we see it as a bad thing. Yet it's not. It's neither good nor bad. It's life itself, just basic as it stands.
That's it.
Yet
It's food,
we
isn't it?
determine whether it's an evil act or a good act.
Yeah, that's right. Even like what we actually eat is food.
Yeah.
Like some will think we're evil, whatever, and people have got different ideas on that as well, haven't they?
Well, yeah, prime example is Hinduism. If you look in Britain, we love beef. Yet in India and Hindu beliefs, the cow is the most sacred animal. But what we're doing that we think is normal to them is classified as being evil. So there's your thing. It depends on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And when you actually get into demonology, you start to look at the actual demons themselves. You start to realise that every single demon that's writ about and classified actually is classified straight away as being a teacher.
Right. Okay.
And there's a demon appeared in the chat.
Yeah.
Talking about a
Damon.
demon. There's a demon. I was just talking about you, actually, mister.
So basically, you present a show with Damon.
Yeah, speaking of Damon on here, and also Lou's
Marlot's on.
group, Mystic Paranormal UK.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I don't think I'm in that one.
Lou
So
is,
we'll put links to the groups later on
Yeah.
after the live, so you'll be able to follow both of them. The show is actually on the radio, isn't it? Pulse Talk Radio. Thanks for sharing, Philip Kevin Williams from Team Spirit Paranormal. Thank you so much.
So what got you interested, Ben, in Lou and demonology?
I'll let you go first.
Thanks. Well, I didn't know anything about demonology until I met Ben.
That's surprising.
We started dating, and he was like, "How are you into like spiritual stuff?" I was like, "In what way?" And he said, "Oh, I've got a PhD in demonology." I'm like, "Okay." And then at which point, like he kind of went home like that weekend, and then I looked on the internet, like, is demonology actually what you think it is? Is it all about, summoning demons and like doing sort of dark stuff? And yeah, actually quite soft and fluffy, really, aren't you?
I am not soft and fluffy at all.
Yeah. And he's taught me a lot about it, and it's nothing like, we talk about the preconceptions of it. It's nothing like it.
Yeah, so obviously, like most people know, like a demon, they come through on the board, it's Zozo.
Yeah, prime example.
There you go.
My sister saying I have the same reaction.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's because she used to come home, like, come around mine to see me, and then I'd just be there piled up with books. And that's literally, speaking of which, is a prime example of what cultology and demonology are. You're learning them both at the same time, which helps you give that balance between the good and the evil.
Yeah.
It's not like the film. We basically just sat in old libraries reading through loads of old books and doing study cases and stuff like that. It's nowhere near what it seems to be. I've done 247. Sorry, she keeps track for me of stuff because I'm terrible for losing track. And in that time, I've only come across probably 6 demonic cases in my entirety.
Wow. That's intriguing.
So 10 years. That's not even one a year.
No, that's it. Like recently, I passed a case to you. Was that demonic? Yeah. That was one, right?
That one was, yeah, but what's known as a low level. So it wasn't like really aggressive one, which if people have been studying with me, and Jacqueline, you've seen the photos as well. From
Hi, Sam. Thank you.
You can tell the difference between a demonic case and what you see nowadays, where people get a little scratch. they're not demons. There's a
Yeah,
massive
but
difference.
the first event I went to, I mention this every time I sort of talk to you. It was actually a public event, and Ben and Lou were guests, and he brought his friends along. He was swearing loads right among the public and everything. So it didn't really go down well, but I found it's funny as hell. It's brilliant. Not really thinking that his friends were like friends like we have friends, like people who have passed, you know. And I thought, oh, that's so sad. But who are your friends then, Ben?
A lot of people have met the. It's hard for people to understand until you've been with me, but I have a lot of people, credible people in the paranormal world, such as yourself and a few others, that know of these entities that sort of follow around us. They're neither good nor bad spirits, but you know when they're there because they will play up.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Right, all you have to do is ask anyone that's ever been on an investigation with me and Lou, and they will tell you stories galore. Oh, cheers! Yeah.
It is very strange. Definitely, yeah. Because when I met the friends, you know, I just thought I didn't really believe in demonology either. I
Yeah.
didn't have a clue about it. You know, oh, demons, oh, it's just Hollywood, and it's so complex, isn't it?
Yeah, we've
Totally.
yeah. When you've got like leading people, like big names in the field that come up to you and go, "Are they with you?" And you're asking who, and then they start to describe them. You sort of go, "Yeah, what have they done?"
It's just basically like having children that misbehave when somebody comes up and says, "Do they children belong to you?" You're like, no, no.
Yeah, we've had people come in the house that have been mediums or something like that. They tend to get to the front door, and the first thing they do is go, "Who's the person stood by the door? Who's the person in that room? What's that doing there?" And they get fun. What's
Damien's caught my eye with what he said. It's a study of.
There we go then. Demonology studied of advanced schizophrenia.
Yes, it does generally make you start questioning your insanity sometimes.
Oh wow.
Which is why you introduced it slowly to me.
Yeah.
You and the boys.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I wouldn't think he was crazy.
Well, that's right. It is mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I first met Ben, I'd had interaction paranormal, you know, things happen. We got voices through SB7, things like that. But then they were swearing all the time, and it's so funny. Luckily, nobody was like offended on the event. So it's good when it's public, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm noticing in the comments, because obviously me and Luke got the comments here.
This one.
Yeah, Mystics have kind of dropped me in about the box.
Right, yeah. So
Don't touch the box.
Yeah, don't touch the
Don't
box.
touch Ben's box.
This is fantastic. So here you go then. What's the story behind it? What is the box and what's the story?
Okay, during lockdown, we had a case brought to us of an elderly couple. The elderly lady was being attacked by what I would actually describe as a demonic entity. Now, I won't mention their names because I told them
No,
that's
you
how I
can't.
work, but they did give me rights to use their cases just for teaching. The photos, I don't know if you saw the photos, Jacqueline. I think I've sent them to you before, haven't I?
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
I won't post them up now due to the fact that they are very graphical in nature.
Yeah. Horrendous scratches and injury. It's horrible. Yeah.
So obviously, won't go into the full details of the case because it will bore a lot. Well, it won't bore a lot of people, but I'll be here for hours.
You've got to be careful, obviously. Yeah.
Anyway, we ended up trapping the entity itself into what's known as a devil's toy box. Now, these are small square boxes with mirrors all around inside, creating a singularity point inside, which can be used to basically trap entity energy. I won't go into all the mechanical science and all that side because, again, be here for hours. But the ironicness of everyone knows about this box in the paranormal groups we're with, and that lot, and it being this highly aggressive entity. Just to throw in here, Mystics, along with Lou, did an investigation at a house with the box. So you can actually look on their videos. I'm pretty sure they still have it up. The box itself, which is the more what worries people, is the fact that this box is currently still sat at the bottom of our garden under a plant pot in a plastic bag full of charcoal and other bits and bobs that have been added to contain it. But
Right.
it's the
I
fact
hope
we've
there's
got
no
this
fox
high
in the
aggressive,
garden.
yeah, got this highly aggressive entity currently sat in the box at the bottom of the garden. So it seems to be everyone that knows about that box always seems to love bringing it up.
Well, it's intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah,
It really is. If you like paranormal, you like mystery, and a demon trapped in a box sounds really cool.
It does actually. I must admit, I would be that one that would sit with your box. I wouldn't mind guarding your box because I'd be sitting there interested by it.
I get my K2 out for that. I don't use the K2 anymore.
It's a very Pandora's box kind of thing as well, because I know people want to somehow open it, and it's like, no, you can't open this whatsoever.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't open a box.
He's come on here just to get me back for stuff.
You're in for it tonight, Ben.
I am tonight, yeah. It's everyone's revenge. I'm waiting for Lou to start up as well in a minute.
Oh, wow. So if anyone's got any questions about demonology, about Ben, about Lou, hop into the chat. Damon says he's been very nice.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Damon before. Awesome person. Done shows great. So yeah, they're a great double act on the show, definitely.
So Ben,
Yeah.
what case study, like no talking about any ones that you've dealt with, talking in a general sense, what case study, I suppose, are you interested in?
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't quite hear it. Oh, case
Not one
studies.
you've done.
No, not one that you've done personally, because I know that's confidential and things like that. But I'm just talking about case study in a whole.
It has to be the French one. I think it was 1566. It was, I can't remember the name of it. It's where a whole monastery basically was taken over possession. And,
wow.
There's a long list of names. I've actually got it in one of my books with all the names of the supposedly demons that were there, all wrote down. And it basically sounds like one hell of a party.
I've got a question for you then.
Of course.
What got you started in demonology? That's from Emma McRobert Joyce.
I started when I was at school. Started studying like just randomly bits. My RE teacher at the time was he's the Archbishop of the Russian Orthodox Church in the UK. He's one of them.
Wow.
And then me and him got into a long discussion once. I was only 13, 14, and that started it all off. And that's pretty much, he's helped me through studying all the way up to a point, and then I went off by myself and started studying.
Wow. That's brilliant, because my RE teacher was Welsh, and he just had a really slow voice, monotone, where you just wanted to fall asleep in lessons. Yeah. That's how my RE went.
It's not a, put it this way, without mentioning names, it's not a 4-hour course you can do. It's taken a lifetime to get as far
That's right.
as I've done.
Yeah, I got a paranormal investigator one just for a laugh. It's 25 quid. You get a certificate at the end, but I can't be bothered to get a certificate because, like, what's the point? I don't mean to upset anyone there, but it was interesting reading about the Fox sisters and things.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a background, and it is interesting, but it actually doesn't qualify me to do anything.
Yeah. There are ones out there that do sort of make me laugh. I think one of them's got a question in it saying how to detect if someone's possessed by a demon. You have to go up to them with holy water. When they're turned around, you throw holy water.
At the back of them.
Yeah, you got to throw holy water at the back of them.
And if they get angry, then that means they're possessed.
Yeah.
But wouldn't a person be angry if they got water thrown at them? Depending on the volume.
This is a prime example. Like, you can just see someone doing this and then going into a pub and throwing a pint of like holy water at someone.
Yeah. You're out. And you're out and it's snowing and someone throws water at you.
Yeah.
That's really useful, isn't it? So we've got a story here from Carl Hodgson then. There's 2 bad entities at Rakeshall, Blackpool in the cellar. Reports about people being pushed, hit, running out of this room. Worth looking into, spent over an hour alone in the room. But is it demon or just bad energy, bad entity?
I would straight away put that as negative energy. Straight away.
Yeah.
Because there's been you can tell straight away the difference between what's known as a demonic attack, a spiritual attack, and what's known as ferals, which feral demonics, they're a bit shorter. I think, Jacqueline, you've seen one of our ferals.
Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed because I've actually got a photo of one of their ferals. I went to Derby Jail and 3 weeks ago now, was it?
Yeah, that's one of our ferals. That was Belle.
Yeah, well.
That was
little pup.
Yeah, that was the young pup that seems to have.
Yeah, so I've got a photo of an entity, and then we went to a paranormal weekend, and one of the mediums there, Claire Evans, she actually saw it. I showed her the photo, and it's the same thing as what she'd seen, which is fantastic.
Nice.
So I really wanted to share that. Oh, okay, here you go. So you, Ben calls them ferals. I'll call them, yeah.
It's different terminology, like that's the thing. Me and David use different terminologies for stuff.
Right, so I've got a question here from Shelley Smith. How would you associate the difference between negative entity and demonic entity?
You can tell by the behaviour. It's literally behavioural patterns.
But can't a bad entity scratch you?
Yes, but you'd be able to see the imprint from human hands. It's to do. You have I can't remember the name of the scale, but it's to do with the in between the gaps of scratch marks.
Right.
You can tell the human hand will spread out the scratches a bit more, and it's to do with the way it arcs and stuff. You'll also see all 5 fingers indented when it comes to scratch. Where when it comes to demonics, there's a bit more of a refined. Like everyone knows the 3 scratch.
More
marks.
like animal claws.
Yeah.
Rather than human fingernails, which tend to be rounded off unless you've got nail extensions and stuff. But yeah, I think more of animal claws. But
well, that's what I was just going to say. That was my thinking, that it was more like animal than it is human.
Yeah, and
like
they've got less
marks and
fingers as well.
scratches.
So when you mention the 3 scratch marks, is it always 3 from a demon then?
No.
3 or less?
You will notice it's actually 4.
Oh, okay.
It's always the 4th one.
If you think when you're scratching, if you were to scratch someone, which fingers would leave the most imprint? Well, it'd be 3 longer ones, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. My little finger, you'd have trouble, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then you've got, because they haven't got the little finger, they've just got the thumb. So they might have another little faint line going down.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah,
so how do people come across demons then? They wouldn't generally hassle you, would they?
No, when it comes to, like, for example, use a feral attack. For example, when you do get these little scratch marks from ferals, which they're basically known as like demonics, but they're not. The ferals they usually send about 4 foot high shadow entities.
They're more like a wild animal.
Yeah, it's more like you realise that when you get these scratch marks, you usually stood in between them and the door out.
Right.
So it's more like a territorial display or a panic, sort of a panic as you get with an animal. When you start blocking an animal, they will lash out.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
last week, last Wednesday, I was on investigation with Mystic Paranormal, and we're at this factory location. And me and one of the guys, Ben, not this Ben, Ben on their team, we went down behind like these 2 walls where we'd heard some rustling and scuttling around. And we saw down at the end there was one of these little ferals. So I explained, like on camera then, that small going to behave more like a creature, like a wild animal. So if we were to go closer to it, it would start to feel trapped, and then it could possibly like lash out, because that's when they feel threatened, like a normal animal would if you trap it. So it's like, if we keep a distance here, that won't feel threatened, we'll be fine. Then we know it's there, they know we're here, and we carried on.
Wow.
Your ferals are basically elementals.
Right. Okay.
One of the branch of elementals. They're more like creature orientated than actual human orientated. If that makes sense.
Okay then. So if elemental's got a light and a dark side, then you know, if you get pixies, imps, things like that, theoretically, then you then got the dark side.
Well, it's the same as saying same thing about a person. We all have our own dark side. We all have our own good sides. It all depends on how your behaviour is.
Yeah.
So you have to remember most of these things. Like I've started doing a bit, which started writing the paperwork. They're more prone to natural reactions. Like an animal itself has a good and a bad tendency, depending on how you approach the animal.
Yeah.
For example, if you go in, you'll probably know this yourself. Most viewers will know this, and most listeners. You go into an active place and start kicking and screaming and shouting and demanding things. The first thing you're going to get is massive attack straight away. Same as if you'd walk into someone's house and start demanding them do things. They're going to turn around and go hellfire.
Right.
But then I suppose you could say that about spirits. If you get in with a good attitude, you'll get a good result. You get in with a bad attitude, then they're going to do nothing. If you get in with disrespect, they're going to do nothing. So I suppose in that sense it works too in demonology with the attitude that you go in with and the mind frame as well.
Prime example for I'm going to give a little bit of information out here that may or may not be useful. If anyone would like to interact with a feral or anything like that, or an elemental, when you feel that you're in the presence of one, react as if you are reacting to a dog.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Go look. Obviously, you're not supposed to do this with dogs, but go down lower to a low level and just extend your hand and just leave it there. You will feel the energy shift round your hand.
Wow.
Well, Ben.
That sounds brilliant.
Maybe more like you act with horses than the dogs.
Yeah,
because their natural tendency is to run away with things. So if you
depends on your dog.
A non-threatening stance and let them sniff you out first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our horses tend to just run after me if I've got a rucksack on because they know it contains food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, as Damien's just put up there, just to advertise, at 8:30 we are going to be doing one of our live shows. So if anyone wants to hear me ramble more about stuff, me and Damien just laying to each other about this, more than welcome to watch.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
It sounds brilliant. It's it's hard to cover anything in an hour and a half because you've been doing it years. Where do you even touch on this?
Yeah, the best thing to do is start when people come up to me and ask, I get them to go away and start looking at old cases, start studying old demonic cases and stuff like that. And then after a while, I'll keep checking up on them to make sure. And that's probably the best place to start. Look at old cases. Look for the patterns in old cases.
Yeah.
So you start to notice the behavioural patterns and stuff like that.
I'm sitting here taking mental notes, Ben, because actually, as a subject, it really does interest me. It's the same as the occult and Satanism. I love those subjects.
Well, I do cultology and demonology. I do both sides,
Yeah.
and I tend to teach them both together.
What did you think of Crowley then? That has to come through, doesn't it?
Everyone brings up Crowley.
Or not.
He started off right, but it's a prime example that I always use. When you gain access to certain knowledge, it will corrupt you if you're not doing it for the right reasons. Crowley is a perfect example of how being given a certain amount of information is suddenly just corrupts you.
Right.
But I suppose that was kind of the same for Jimmy Page, because Crowley corrupted him.
Yeah.
And actually, I love the story about Boleskine House, because I think he did do sex magic. What interests me about the whole Crowley and Jimmy Page thing is Boleskine House is because the circumstances were the exact same. And I wonder if that comes down to the fact of obviously what's happened there.
Yeah, as someone brought up, he did. What was that?
That was weird.
I think
Very odd.
that came from my end. Sorry.
Was it? That was brilliant. I've
Sorry,
also
did
got
I
a
say
bottle of,
something wrong?
I've got a bottle of lemonade down here, plastic bottle, and it's just made a noise as well. So it can happen with the gas if it warms up, but yeah, that's just clicked at the same time as that. Who knows?
Might get interesting. Yeah. I can't remember where I was.
I was talking about Crowley and Boleskine House and Jimmy
yeah.
Page in the same circumstances.
Yeah, it was very corrupted towards the end. He wanted to gain more power. I just saw someone put up about sex magic as well. He started that with a gentleman called Gardner as well. He was a nudist, doing nudist magic, and and them two basically brought it all together, and it got more corrupted.
Ben has a knack of sending people to visit you.
No, that was generally from our end.
The thing
Well,
is,
as long as they can cook, clean, and everything else, then that's fine.
There's certainly nobody around you, is there, Ben? No one human, anyway.
Yeah, that didn't come. That someone literally sat here doing that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. I think pretty much every single interview me and Lou have ever done has always been interrupted by one of the entities that exist around it.
Ask them to join in. It's fine. We'd love to speak to them more. I've got a question for you.
Of course.
Is Damon house trained?
I don't know about Damon being house trained. He is from Essex, so I'm not sure on that one.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so this lady as well, Jeanette, says it came through clear enough.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. It's just like a random sound, wasn't it?
That's just a normal night, isn't it, pretty much?
Yeah, that's it. So where do you want to go now? Because you're studying, you're just going to carry on studying? Is there a specific project you're interested in, or?
You never stop studying.
Yeah, that's it.
I think someone put up the other day that they've studied all prophecies of all religions. It's like
that was our paranormal group.
Yeah, it was different paranormal group. there's 4,800 plus religions in the world. So if you manage to study all that lot, I'd be impressed.
That's some going.
I think somebody's either been very, very sleep deprived, or they've obviously.
Even I've been sleep deprived studying, and even I'm not anywhere near that. So,
And they're the known religions, aren't they?
yeah, I have a friend of mine who studies the African tribal religions. He's been doing that for 50 years now. He's still not anywhere close.
Yeah,
But I
it's
suppose
all
that's quite a good
intriguing.
thing about these subjects is that it's ongoing all the time, you know, it never ever stops. It's the same as the
Yeah.
paranormal. It's always going to be ongoing
Yeah, something
all the
new
time.
always pops up.
Oh, aye, definitely. Definitely.
So
It'd be cool to investigate with you, Boxer. I'd love to meet it one day.
the box is a bit of a strange one. I have to be careful where I take it.
Obviously, yeah.
And Lou's sort of my boss lady as well, so she tells me where it goes, where it doesn't go.
But you don't want it to kind of fall out of the box when you're transporting it?
It won't fall out of the box at all. The box is heavily secured.
Right.
Yeah, you're being funny.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, are there any books that you recommend people, sort of a beginner's guide then?
Encyclopedia of Demonology and Demons, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good start.
No, I'll
Oh,
fetch
sorry,
it.
just leave
I was going to say I'll fetch it.
Post it up
I'll post a
later.
photograph of it up later on your page so everyone knows.
Yeah,
what
that
book
would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, because it is intriguing, and you know, this is like a brief insight. Is that it?
This is one of the cultology books. It's for example, that's my standard mouse.
Right.
That's a normal mouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the book. That's the mouse fitting inside.
Wow.
Well.
Yeah. But it's small print as well.
Yeah.
You say, don't we get the tape measure out?
Don't need the tape. That'll start a whole new subject.
Like you already said about where it goes and who falls out and what's going on. So I don't know.
So I've got every demonologist or occultist has a specific area they specialise in. Yours is more recent. Ben loves the old stuff.
Yeah, I'm renowned. When it comes to like me, Lou, Damon, we all have our own little section. Like Damon's more 1944. Well, 1940s World War forward to modern times. I'm more. I think someone mentioned him earlier, John D. Backwards through all the ancient stuff, and then Lou, you go as far back to Samaria, don't you?
I enjoy looking at Samaria.
Yeah, you do Sumerian studies.
But I also like dipping out different things, don't I, really?
Yeah.
I could do a little bit of demonology, a little bit of cultology, a little bit in witchcraft.
Yeah.
Then you got paranormal investigating.
Yeah.
I just bob around a bit.
You jack of all
go where I feel like going that week.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Definitely nothing wrong with that. Again, I'm into like obviously witchcraft and paranormal, and you know, I'm getting into the other aspects of the areas. So hey, there's nothing wrong with having. It's the best sort of conversation you can have with obviously people. I find it difficult to have a conversation with normal people. That's outside the field, you know. What can you talk about? Whilst with you guys, it's been great.
Yeah.
So, would the ancient civilizations have demons then? Would have been around then?
I've just, funny enough, been writing about how far elemental stuff like that go back, which is also brought on the demonology side.
Yeah.
Sumeria had their own demon classifications back then. The Undug, for example, is Sumerian demonic right back then. Then you've got Chinese beliefs, like going back to the I remember, was it 1796 BC that I wrote down?
Something like that.
Something like that. They was talking about demonics, and that's just in the written history. Obviously, before that, you had all the spoken word about it. So you believe in demonics and that goes ridiculously far back. into history.
Yeah.
You can't really find the beginning point.
Yeah, because you've got the old symbols, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
Symbology itself goes miles back.
yeah.
Um,
Sometimes these civilizations seemed ahead of themselves in a lot of ways, didn't they?
yeah, you look at Native Americans as well. Their belief in like the jackal and the skinwalkers go right back to their early days, and that's a religious belief in a sense that's been going for thousands, if not millennia.
Yeah, it's so intriguing.
So, what's your
Really is.
favourite sort of culture in demonology? Like, my favourite culture, like even history-wise, is Chinese culture and things like that. What would you say is your
I'll let
favourite
Lou
culture?
answer that one.
What? Don't let me answer. No, you said it properly. I haven't.
It has to be the more Middle Eastern tribal. You're going right back to the beginning days of Egypt, before the kingdoms were set. So you've
Wow.
got all the tribal beliefs, more the sand tribes and stuff like that. But you do get mention of demonics, but it's mainly towards more jinn and stuff like that.
It's just mad, isn't it? It's how things link together.
Yeah,
as
when you
well.
get back there, it's more the Western belief sort of starts disappearing. You get more the old world belief.
Wow.
Well, it's definitely an interesting subject. So much to learn.
Yeah, so if anyone's got any questions for Ben and Lou, we have a bit of time. So anything you really want to know about demonology? What Ben can probably explain in, well, give an idea of in a minute or two. But yeah. So Philip Kevin Williams is looking at Gallus.
Yeah, this is a good one to go with.
So they all have different features then, each of the demons.
You have to remember these are exactly the same people.
Right,
They're
okay.
all different. You look at just take example of like the 72 demonics, Solomon ones. They're all described completely looking different.
Yeah.
They don't look like the caricatures you see of them with big heads and dragons and all that sort of stuff, and arriving on dragon, big beasts and stuff like that. They don't do any of that whatsoever. They just, when it comes to your hierarchy, demonics, they're usually seen as about 12-foot shadow figures, anywhere from 6 foot to 12 foot.
Yeah, well, that's definitely different from spirit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even the largest spirits are not that big. So yeah.
Your average spirit's usually anywhere between like 5-ish.
No, a human, isn't it?
Yeah. You have to remember, as a human race, we're also like taller than we were.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
you can usually use when it comes to spirits, you can usually tell how old they are by how high they are as well.
That's interesting. I never thought about that one.
Well, for example, people believe Vikings were about 6 foot. Well, they weren't. The tallest Vikings about 5'8".
Wow.
So it's a prime example.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, we've got Phil Newton on.
Hey,
Hiya,
Phil.
how you doing? So we've got Shelley Smith then. Shelley, what are the chances of bringing demonic entities to a spirit board?
Depends on your definition of demonic entities. Because again, the word demon is only a label that's been there from the Christian church. So you could speak to what would be classified as a demon, be it Zozo or anyone like that. But they are just beings. And depending
Right.
how you talk to them depends on how you get a response.
Yeah, don't start demanding.
Yeah, don't Jesus Christ, yeah.
Don't
rules?
try and summon one of the big ones and then start demanding from them.
There's 2 rules that you get taught straight away in demonology and cultology. 1, don't demand anything. You are literally the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
And 2, don't use white sage in any circumstance
Yeah,
whatsoever.
you've often said this.
You know, I seen Damo having a rant one night about Sage.
Yeah.
I think he had it was a lady that was doing the readings. I think her name was Kay. Him and Kay were doing a show. He was interviewing her, and they were talking about Sage, and it was just so funny.
Yeah.
Because
It has never, ever, 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 ever been used in cleansing. This belief that the Native Americans use it is a load of bull, to put it bluntly.
Right.
Even they don't use it. They use it mixed with other things. No one uses it raw. You mix it with lemongrass or the herbs, stuff like that. You use it as a basic. Sweetgrass, yeah. Don't use sage. If you've got a sage bundle, add lavender oil to it, or orange oil, or frankincense oil. Just don't burn it pure. If you've got something, to put it example, sage is basically like catnip for the paranormal.
But instead of them going up to it and having it as they want it, you'll basically ram it into their face.
Yes.
Do you know I've actually got a picture that came into my head there. Damien, him going in a rage right now and walking up to the screen going because of the sage.
Yeah, it will.
He'll be sitting shouting at the screen. I can imagine.
It's a common thing. We scream, like all three of us scream no sage to people over and over again.
I know.
Prime example, I've been to a case where I've dealt with a whole house, settled down the entity there because they didn't want to get rid of the entity. And then the next day, one of their family members come round and saged the house. And all the work we'd done over the past couple of weeks just basically went out the window.
Oh no. Nightmare. That's so frustrating though, isn't it? Just people don't always listen. Have you ever had an experience that made you think, I'm not doing this anymore?
Yes. Where I got picked up and thrown across a room.
Wow. Wish I'd have been there. It would have been cool.
It was a very high level case. I got picked up and thrown across a room. Being, as I say to like the Americans and that, like, when we're on there, I did the typical British thing. I picked myself up, dusted myself off, used a few choice words, and got straight back into it.
Wow. Yeah, it's the first time Jeanette's heard not to use sage.
Yeah, use frankincense. If you have to use anything, use frankincense. It's been used for thousands and thousands of years. Prime example, look at I can't believe I'm about to say these words, but look at the Catholic Church for exorcisms and cleansings. They basically cleanse churches and that one with frankincense every single time. That's why they walk with a burning pot in front with frankincense. Is to clear out any evil spirits that are lingering there before they have prayer and mass.
Wow.
Why they always use frankincense.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those ones, but we'll not use the bad word anymore of sage.
If you want to use sage, use it on a chicken. Or in Damon's case, use it on an abyssal chicken. You should always use sage on an abyssal chicken.
Yeah, definitely. Philip, like with spiritual work, like it's all about intention. Yeah. That's what it is with the boards as well. But you can find out, like even on the boards, like something like Zozo. They say the Zozo will actually come through, but it's not because spirits lie anyway.
No, Zozo, the spirit Zozo can get through the board is known as a mimic. It is an entity that will cold read you. So as you react to it, they will feed off you. As Lucia said, there are many entities. They will just feed off what you do. The instant you hear the name Zozo and you stop panicking because of the hype, they will feed off it and they will play you more and more and more. To them, it's just a game.
Yeah. So Shelley says, what's your views on Palo Santo then?
Palo Santo, yeah, use that.
Cool. So I've got some of that.
Yeah.
I'll have to use it. It smells nice as well.
Palo
Yeah.
Santo, perfectly fine. Frankincense, perfectly fine. Sandalwood, perfectly fine. Lavender, perfectly fine. Anything bar sage.
Yeah, so there you go then. That's something. If you take one thing away from this tonight, what's your sage?
In fact, if you really want to make a donation to the boys, send them sage. I'm sure they'll love it.
Yeah, if you want to send anyone's stuff, if you want to send us sage, please send it to Damon's address. I'll post it up so that you can all send it. Yeah, there's a bit of chicken.
So
You
we've got a
know-
question here then, Sam Thomas. Have you ever heard of Zula?
Zula is another name for Zozo, same as
Right, okay.
You have Pazuzu, which started off, which is a different demonic entity. You've got Kamazos, which is a completely different entity. You've got Zots, which is a different entity. But they all get labelled as one entity, and they're not. They're all separate entities.
But do you not find that though, Ben, that some of these demons do come under different names?
You do, yeah. You can find them in different categories, but different religions, you will still notice that they are the same people. Prime example is Lilith. She's used in loads of different religions and that, but you still get the same attributes in every single storytelling.
See, that's a good thing, I suppose, but as you say, Ben, too many people just presume when you talk about demonology, you're talking about one demon all in. It's no just a case of that. It's like the little, I'll use your little boxes of different type of entities, different type of demons.
Yeah, you have a massive chain of command in a sense. So you have your hierarchy, then you have your lowers, your lessers, everything's in between all that.
Yeah, it's amazing the knowledge that Ben does have. And whenever you speak to him, it just comes out with all this, and it's like, where do you keep it? It's like names and things. I'm rubbish at names, but you remember them and you know about them and you can describe and everything.
Oh yeah, I'm buggered with anything else whatsoever. Lou is literally my normal brain at the time. Yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Because I look after him. While he's off in his corner, I make sure he's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, anything else goes out the window.
I like when you're on the radio.
Yeah.
Like on Saturday, I wasn't there, and you're like, I need Lou because I can't remember the name and stuff.
Yeah. Any basic
it's like, where did we actually go that weekend? Yeah. Who were we with? I remember who we were with. I don't remember where we went.
Oh, I'm like that with names though. I'm shocking. I can kind of remember the location, but names, no way.
Prime example, Loz will back me up on this. And Lou, I thought tonight this interview was next week. It was only when Loz posted it up I went, I'm online.
Oh yeah, Ben commented and said, "Thank you for reminding me."
Oh my god, because I PM you this morning.
As Damon says, I was lost Saturday. To be fair, and I'm going to embarrass her now, I'm always lost when she's not on.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh wow.
So do you do?
So do you go out investigating much then? Because obviously I saw, you went to Harlington Manor, didn't you? Which is amazing place.
Yes, it was a brilliant place. I get out every so often, but lose out pretty much every Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah,
with Mystics.
Mystic Paranormal. Yeah, we go out. We go.
Mystic Paranormal UK. Paul will shoot me if I say it wrong again.
Well, we'll certainly I'll put it into the comments at the end. Well, I'll put it in the top actually. So after the show, I'll put a link in so you can find the different pages and everything. Yeah.
And we may,
So what sort of gadgets do you use then, Lou? Do you?
We got a couple, but we tend to stick mostly to sort of traditional things like pendulum and dowsing rods.
Yeah.
Although we've got a new toy, a little robot that they tried last night. It was really cute,
Oh, wow.
so I can't wait to work with that myself. But yeah, I've just got standard like EMF detector. That's pretty much it. I don't really have that many gadgets, to be fair. I'm trying to go on like basically sensors, because I think if you use too much
Yeah.
gadgets around, you rely on them more, so you're not using your own sensors as much.
That's it. They can be a distraction. Like
Yeah, totally.
it's like REM pods. Like the worst time I was at Coombe Abbey and Katrina Wildman was doing an hour investigation in a bedroom, and there's only a few of us. Somebody had a boo bear. I'm hot. I'm cold. And I just wanted to sling it out the window. It just put my head in. It was shocking. You know, you're trying to do something serious, and you got this.
Yeah. Just
Don't get me wound up.
just in case anyone's wondering what Lou's doing, the cat suddenly appeared on my
Why does it look weird?
You just like sort of going like this.
It's okay. I seen the tail come up at the screen.
Yeah.
The tail.
Little furry one.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh.
Come on.
Just in case anyone's wondering.
Yeah, so use yourselves the best equipment, and we'll certainly find out at the weekend about using ourselves and Phil. Because I'm actually meeting, you met Phil at the old school
Yes.
that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm meeting up with Phil and a few other cool people. And we're going to a place in Leicestershire, Hinckley, on Saturday. So yeah, it's going to be good. Quite looking forward to that.
Everyone keeps bombarding me with requests of setting up paranormal, like for me and Lou to set a paranormal night for everyone to come to a location of ours.
Yeah.
I've got to try and get that sorted.
I certainly know a location which is near yours, which would be cool.
Yeah.
If you can get access to that, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do.
That's the one, and definitely an outdoor location, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I'd love to go there, and yeah, let us know on that one. So yeah, be up for that. So any tips for people then?
Don't use white sage.
Apart from that, apart from reading,
just show respect when you're on. I know it goes without saying, a lot of groups do still show respect. That's all you have to do. Remember, they're not spirits, elementals, demons, even angelics. Just show respect at some point. Just remember they are way beyond your own capability. If they want to turn on you, you won't even know about it.
Yeah.
It's just like anything really. It's what you do in life, what you would do in paranormal and demonology. It's about obviously that level, as you say, respect, and that's the main thing, and that's a big thing to me when I'm out paranormal investigating, is the whole respect aspect. And I always introduce myself. People think I'm daft, Ben, but really I'm not, because at the end of the day, if you don't know somebody, you wouldn't know introduce yourself.
Well, you're going into someone's house or property, aren't you?
Oh, aye, definitely. No matter what parallel that they're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to remember that. That's a lot of people tend to forget that.
Yeah. It's definitely very intriguing.
Definitely. It is. It's been a great chat.
It has.
I know my mum, who I know she is currently sat watching this. I don't know if she's still watching it. She's paranoid that I end up doing dark stuff and that. I don't.
Don't, Mum, I won't.
Yeah. I always have done, always will do, show the utmost respect for stuff. It's just how it is. You have to.
Yeah.
That's it.
That does bring me to a question what Phil's just mentioned. What about protection? Should people use protection?
I always say it's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have
Yeah.
it. it's always a good idea to have it, just in case anything does turn. I do have my own forms, but well, Jacqueline, I think you've met one of my forms of protection. He's a very grumpy old git. Yeah. A lot of groups that have worked with us have met the one that looks after us.
Yeah.
Mine did a good one. I've got a guy that comes with me that protects me. I say a guy. He's on the other side. That even sounds weirder. Anyway, because we were at an investigation and there was an ex-team member that had his drone there, and the drone was flying sort of behind me. I know this is a different kind of protection, but still, it's a good story.
Yeah.
But the drone was flying behind me, and it was getting closer and closer, just like really slowly. And all of a sudden, my guy just whacked it, and it just went flying like through the air and hit the wall of this church that we were in.
Oh my God.
So he's our protector. If anything comes too close to me, that's what he'll do to anything, be it spirit, be it a drone or a person.
Oh, that's awesome. That is.
It's so funny.
Have you got this from Phil then? Your doorkeepers can only do so much. Jeanette says, brilliant night, thanks.
What was that? My doorkeepers can only do so much.
Yeah, your doorkeepers can only do so much.
No, I've yet to see where their limitation lies, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Especially when I work with one that gets seen a lot. If I mention the name, everyone will know what I'm on about. It's the gentleman with the black hat.
Right.
Is one of the most notorious spirits in the scene. I work with him on stuff, so I've yet to see the end of his capability.
My gosh, that's heavy stuff. That's brilliant. Yeah.
Just to show how deep into the cultology, demonology my knowledge extends, should we say?
Yeah, it's all just beyond me. You know, it's just mad, isn't it?
I've really enjoyed myself sitting listening.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Have you got any funny moments, funny stories to tell us, then?
I think me and Luke both got the exact same story, and it happened to us on different occasions.
Oh wow! Okay.
One of the entities that we work with, you made him jump when you went upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
He squealed like a girl. Oh, I can't say that anymore now, can I? Because of PC correctness. My apologies. I didn't mean any offence like that. It was just a terminology.
Because he was upstairs, he'd been in the bedroom just charging off my salt lamp. So he was a bit sort of zoned out himself. And I came running up the stairs to go to the bedroom. And he, just as he was coming out of the bedroom, and I'd come up to the top of the stairs, so we both met each other. He went, ah! I went, ah! And I think the cat was there, and the cat shot around somewhere, didn't he, as well?
The cat has
always a cat involved.
The cat has a tendency of making a lot of spirits jump in this house.
So I came back downstairs like, Ben, what's just happened? Has this actually just happened? That was funny.
I've made him jump a few occasions as well.
That's so weird. You don't think of that happening, do you?
No,
but
they really are like, and just like us in that sense. They've got their own personalities. They can still be made to jump. They can still feel happy, sad. You know, yeah, they have all the emotions that we have.
This is really enlightening. It's not what you think. You know, these demons.
It definitely isn't. But
it's certainly not that one, is it?
Well, yes.
But then that comes back down to the mentality and obviously what's been taught. But I would definitely recommend people did start doing their homework rather than making assumptions. It's the same as like obviously Satanism, occultism. People make assumptions about that, so it's about just basically doing the research. And there's good and as you say, Ben, at the beginning, there's good and bad in everything.
What was that sound? Is that me? Is it my voice echoing? Yeah.
That might be it.
I don't know.
Keeps coming and going though.
It's weird, isn't it? Don't know if it's me or if it's something with Ben.
Just never
God
know.
knows.
No, it's one of those things, isn't it? Oh, hi, Vaughn. Thanks for joining us. We're just about to leave. But you can listen
Hi.
again.
Hey, Bonnie.
Hey,
Phil
Bonnie.
says it sounds demonic.
Would not be surprised.
But yeah, it's just been a brilliant share, and you guys, you're brilliant, you know. I've just
Anytime.
been fascinated from the day I met you both. You know, since meeting the boys, oh my gosh, yeah, that's a dead memorable night.
Anytime we will come on.
Oh,
Anytime.
that's cool. Right, do you want to mention the podcast then?
Yeah, I am co-host with Damon, who's been belittling me in the comments. We do a podcast called The Other Dimension. We go live on Pulse Talk Radio 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock. You can catch it on there, or you can catch it on Facebook. If you miss any episodes, if you go on Spotify or Apple Store or anywhere you download podcasts, you type in The Other Dimension, you can listen to it there. It basically involves me rambling about stuff, Damon rambling about stuff, and then
Occasionally.
Talking about Sage.
okay, yeah,
Well, do you know, you've
occasionally
just
me
took the
pops
words
in.
out of my mind. Ben
Yeah.
and Damon will have, be having a rant about that tonight. It'll be, did you see what was said in that? Did you see how many people swore about Sage?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to
We
sort
will,
that, Phil. We'll have to arrange something, won't we?
we basically talk about any paranormal stuff and stuff like that. We cover occultology stuff, UFOs, anything that's paranormal related, and we just generally take the mickey out of each other as well whilst doing it. And then Lou just comes in and bashes our heads together every so often. So
You fantastic double act. Where did you meet?
randomly he was doing a first podcast about the Zozo demonic.
Oh wow.
And I mentioned my research on it because my research seems to have spread far and wide, which is quite interesting. And that's how it ended up getting about. And we ended up talking there, and that's it. We've been doing the show
That
for
was
a
it.
while now.
Yeah, it's like people are pushed together in the paranormal field.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Is it always planned that this is going to happen, or yeah,
Never can work it out, and you'll go
yeah,
insane trying to figure it out.
yeah, it's certainly. Oh, Von, Lou sorts the boys out.
Yeah. She
Can only
does
try. Can only try.
Enjoyed it as well. And Emma and Carl. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, any last words, anyone?
No.
Cheers from me. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Good from us.
Goodbye. Have a good
Bye.
night. Stay safe. Good
See you later.
weekend.
We're off to do the
Bye.
podcast as well on